It's a cold November evening in Palm Beach, Florida. The kind of night where the ocean wind carries secrets better than it carries sound. Inside one of the most exclusive private estates in the country, two people are sitting across from each other, not on a stage, not in front of cameras, not in the middle of a press conference. Just two people. Quiet. Real. Broken in their own ways. One of them is a man who has won 82 PGA Tour events, 15 major championships, and was once called the greatest athlete alive. A man who stood over a golf ball with the weight of an entire generation on his shoulders and made it look effortless. A man who, in private, had survived car crashes, surgeries, scandals, and a loneliness so deep that even the trophies couldn't fill it. His name is Tiger Woods. The other is a woman who walked the red carpets of power, raised 5 children inside one of the most scrutinized families in American political history, and then watched her marriage collapse in public while the whole world took notes. A woman who rebuilt herself, quietly, fiercely, with a grace that most people never noticed because they were too busy talking about her last name. Her name is Vanessa Trump. And now, in early 2026, something is being whispered in the corridors of Palm Beach society. Something that no official statement has confirmed. Something that the tabloids are circling like wolves. A rumor. A possibility. A question that once it enters your mind, you cannot stop thinking about. Is Vanessa Trump pregnant with Tiger Woods' child? Stay right here, because what you are about to hear is not just a rumor. It is the story of how two shattered people found each other and why, if this rumor is true, it would be the most dramatic chapter in Tiger Woods' already impossible life. If you've ever watched someone you believed in crumble and then somehow rise, drop a comment below right now and tell me, did you see it coming, or did it shock you? Because Tiger's story? Nobody saw it coming. Let's go back. Because to understand where Tiger Woods is in 2026, you need to understand just how far down he had already fallen. It is December 30th, 1975. Eldrick Taunt Woods is born in Cypress, California. His father Earl, a Vietnam veteran, a man of steel and stories, puts a golf club in his hand before Tiger can even properly walk. At 2 years old, Tiger putts on national television. By 10, he's beating adults. By 15, he's a legend in junior golf. By 21, he wins the Masters by 12 shots and the world stops. Not just the golf world. The world. Tiger Woods did not just play golf. He changed what golf looked like. What it sounded like. What it felt like to watch another human being operate at a frequency most of us will never experience. He was not just the best player in the world. For more than a decade, he was the sport. And then everything that went up came down. Hard. In 2009, on the night after Thanksgiving, a single car crash outside a Florida home broke open a story that Tiger had spent years carefully hiding. Affairs. Multiple women. A double life built behind the wall of his carefully constructed brand. His then-wife Ellen Nordegren, a Swedish former model and nanny, was the face of the betrayal. And within months, the most famous athlete on the planet was standing before cameras, reading an apology, while his entire empire quietly began to crack. The divorce cost him an estimated $100 million. His Nike sponsorship held, but his spirit didn't. Between 2010 and 2019, Tiger Woods had 4 back surgeries, a DUI arrest where he was found asleep at the wheel, a back fusion that doctors privately questioned would ever allow him to play competitive golf again, and a personal loneliness that insiders described as total. Think about that. The man who once walked the 18th fairway at Augusta with 50,000 people screaming his name, sitting alone in a house in Jupiter Island, Florida, not knowing if he would ever swing a golf club again without pain. And then, 2019. The Masters. Augusta National. A 50-foot putt on the 16th. And a roar, an actual roar, from the crowd that you could hear on satellite feeds a mile away. Tiger Woods, after 11 years, wearing the green jacket again. His children Sam and Charlie running onto the course. Tears. Real, undeniable tears on the face of a man who had spent his entire life learning not to show them. It was supposed to be the ending. The comeback story of the century. The redemption arc complete. But Tiger's life especially, does not follow a script. February 23, 2021. A black Genesis GV80 SUV plows through a median in Rancho Palos Verdes, California. The car rolls multiple times. When paramedics arrive, Tiger Woods is trapped inside, conscious but barely. His right leg is shattered, comminuted open fractures of the tibia and fibula bones, damage to the ankle joint. Surgeons work for hours. There are rods, screws, and pins placed inside a leg that once carried one of the most valuable athletes in human history down thousands of fairways. The doctors do not say he will play golf again. They say they are focused on saving the leg. In 2024, a ruptured left Achilles tendon during the Open. Surgery. Recovery. And then October 2024, a seventh back surgery. His seventh. 7 operations on a body that had already given everything it had. By the time Thanksgiving of 2024 arrives, Tiger Woods is 50 years old, ranked nowhere near the top of the world, physically limited in ways that are no longer hidden from the public, and quietly attending social events at Palm Beach's most exclusive institution, the Benjamin School. That is where, according to multiple insiders, he first met her properly. Not as a name. Not as a headline. As a person. Vanessa Trump had her own wreckage to sort through. After 12 years of marriage to Donald Trump Jr., 5 children, the relentless scrutiny of being part of the most politically polarizing family in American history, the divorce in 2018 had been messy, expensive, and very public. She had emerged from it composed. Quietly. With her children as her anchor and her own identity slowly returning after years of being defined by someone else's last name. By 2024, she was doing what survivors do. She was living. Her daughter Kai, 18 years old, talented, a legitimate junior golfer who would later make her LPGA debut, attended the same school as Charlie Woods, Tiger's son. The kids had intersected first. The parents followed. And from what insiders describe, something real happened. Not a rebound. Not a publicity moment. Something that neither of them had been expecting to find. Here is where I need you to think. Because you've probably seen 2 people who had both been through public pain, who had both made mistakes, both survived things that most of us cannot imagine, find each other. And the question you asked yourself was, is this real, or is this convenience? That question, the one you're sitting with right now about Tiger and Vanessa, drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know what you think. March 23, 2025. Tiger Woods posts on Instagram. It is arguably the most unexpected Instagram post in the history of celebrity social media. The man who named his yacht Privacy. The man who, for 30 years, never once voluntarily opened the door to his personal life unless forced to. That man wrote, "Love is in the air and life is better with you by my side. We look forward to our journey through life together." The internet did not walk. It ran. Because attached to that post was a photo. Tiger and Vanessa. Smiling. Real. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, Vanessa's former father-in-law, was called for comment within hours. He responded from the Oval Office. "I love Tiger and I love Vanessa," he said. "Tiger called me a few months ago. I'm very happy for both. Just let them both be happy." Even Ellen Nordegren, Tiger's ex-wife, the woman whose world Tiger had destroyed in 2009, reportedly responded not with bitterness, but with something that surprised everyone who heard about it. According to a source close to Tiger, when he told her about Vanessa, Ellen's first response was, "Seriously? A Trump? For real?" She was more amused than angry. And within weeks, she had accepted it. Think about what that says. That says that Tiger Woods had come far enough, healed enough, grown enough, that the woman he had hurt most deeply in his life was no longer around walking. She was a co-parent. An adult. Someone who wanted him to be okay. Throughout 2025, Tiger and Vanessa built something together in public view while simultaneously protecting everything that mattered. At his 50th birthday gala in January 2026, a red carpet event at Palm Beach Gardens that celebrated 3 decades of his TGR Foundation, Vanessa arrived with her daughter Kai by her side, stunning in red. 300 guests watched as Tiger and Vanessa moved through the room like two people who had found solid ground after years of earthquake. The foundation raised funds that night for children who needed STEAM education. For kids who grew up without resources. Tiger had built that foundation in 1996 alongside his late father Earl. He stood at 50 years old, in the room where 2 million children had been impacted by his work, with a woman who had also survived the most public kinds of pain, and something in that image felt complete. But it was what came after that gala, in the weeks that followed, where the whispers started. In January and February 2026, multiple sources in Palm Beach began circulating a specific kind of speculation. The kind that people who move in certain circles do not say on record. The kind that gets passed at private dinners and school pickup lines and charity events. The speculation was this, that Vanessa Trump had been seen behaving in ways consistent with early pregnancy. That she had stepped back from certain activities. That her inner circle had gone unusually quiet on social media in ways that felt deliberate. No confirmation has come. Tiger has not spoken. Vanessa has not spoken. As of this recording, this remains in the space between rumor and reality, the most dangerous, electrically charged space in the world of celebrity journalism. But here is what makes this more than just gossip. Here is what makes this, if true, one of the most human stories of 2026. Tiger Woods is 50 years old. He has 2 children, Charlie, 16, who is already being called one of the most promising young golfers in the country, and Sam, 18, who just graduated from the very school where this love story began. He has spent the last 7 years recovering from injuries that would have ended most men's careers and most men's spirits. He has rebuilt his foundation, his business, his name, not with trophies this time, but with something quieter. With presence. With stability. Vanessa Trump is 48. She has 5 children. She has rebuilt her identity from the inside out after a divorce that stripped her of privacy, predictability, and peace. She found a man who, according to every insider who has spoken, genuinely respects her. Who, for the first time in years, makes her feel like herself and not a supporting character in someone else's story. If there is a child coming, a baby that carries the bloodline of one of sport's greatest legends and the quiet strength of a woman who refused to be defined by her former life, then what you are watching is not a scandal. What you are watching is 2 human beings getting a second chance at something most people only get one shot at. If you have ever had to rebuild yourself, from the ground up, from nothing, from the wreckage of something that felt permanent, this moment, right now, is for you. Because Tiger and Vanessa's story is not really about golf or politics or last names. It's about whether broken things can become whole again. And if you believe they can, this channel exists for exactly that story. Here is what we know with certainty as of February 2026. Tiger Woods has not returned to competitive PGA Tour golf. There are retirement discussions happening in his inner circle, according to sources who spoke to the Daily Mail. His body may not allow a full return to the game that defined him. But he has not announced retirement. He has not given up. He is, in the words of those around him, exploring what the next chapter looks like, and for the first time in years, he appears to be doing it with someone beside him who makes the unknown feel less terrifying. Vanessa Trump has maintained an almost perfectly calibrated public silence on matters of personal life, posting family holidays, supporting Tiger's foundation events, showing up at moments that matter and disappearing from moments that don't. Her restraint is not the restraint of someone hiding something shameful. It is the restraint of someone who has learned, the hard way, that some things are too precious to share with the world before they are ready. Kai Trump, Vanessa's daughter, appeared at Tiger's 50th birthday gala just 7 days after wrist surgery. She didn't have to be there. She was 18. She chose to show up. And she seemed genuinely happy doing it. That detail, that small, overlooked detail, tells you more about where this family is heading than any tabloid headline possibly could. Charlie Woods, meanwhile, is writing his own story. At 16, he won the Florida High School State Championship. He committed to Florida State University, turning down programs that his father's legacy alone could have opened for him. He made a hole-in-one at TPC Sawgrass in front of cameras and the internet lost its mind. Tiger watched from the side, recovering from surgery, and there are videos, brief, unguarded videos, of the look on Tiger's face in that moment. The look of a father who has outlasted his own worst chapters long enough to watch his son become something extraordinary. That look. That specific look. That is what all of this is really about. Because here is the truth that sits underneath every headline, every rumor, every whisper about pregnancy and announcements and secret Palm Beach conversations. The real story of Tiger Woods in 2026 is not about whether he wins another major. He has 15. That conversation is closed. The real story is whether a man who built his identity entirely around dominance, around being the best, around being feared, around winning at all costs, whether that man can learn to find meaning in something quieter. In a family. In love. In watching his children grow. In being present. And the answer, from everything visible in early 2026, appears to be yes. Whether Vanessa Trump is pregnant or not, and let me be clear, this is a rumor, not a confirmed report, the larger story remains the same. Tiger Woods is not the same man who crashed his car in 2009, or who sat in a hospital in 2021 wondering if he would walk again. He is something rarer. He is a man who survived himself. Who survived the version of himself that was destructive and isolated and addicted to a kind of greatness that was always going to cost him everything. And the woman beside him? She survived a different kind of story, a quieter kind of devastation, and she came out the other side knowing exactly who she was. Two people who lost everything finding each other. In Palm Beach. At a school pickup line. Over 5 kids between them and a shared understanding that life after wreckage can be the best version of life you've ever had. If this turns out to be true, if 2026 brings an announcement that shakes the golf world, the Trump Circle, and 50 years of Tiger Woods mythology all at once, you will want to be the first to know. And if it turns out to be a rumor that fades quietly into the Florida sunshine, then you will still have watched one of the most honest love stories in modern celebrity history. Either way, the story continues. And so does Tiger Woods. He always does. There is a word in golf, in the culture of the game, for the moment when everything clicks. When the club face meets the ball at exactly the right angle, with exactly the right weight, in exactly the right moment. The word is pure. Not perfect. Pure. Tiger Woods has spent 50 years chasing pure on the golf course. And maybe, just maybe, in 2026, he has finally found it somewhere else entirely. If you are someone who believes that the second chapter of a life can be more meaningful than the first, that the rebuild is sometimes more beautiful than the original, then you already know why you're here. And you already know you're not leaving.